What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Double D Report. Finally, me and Dean are here as Dean's flicking his little ball on the top of his head. This is a big week. A lot of shit has gone on in the sports world. NFL, MLB, NBA, NHL. But first of all, I want to go back a little bit in time and start talking about the NFL. Just to start it off, we'll talk about the NFL for a bit, and then we'll segue back to our other sports that we talk about. Big things, releases. People have gotten released. Some trades have gone on. One big release that's gone on is Davante Adams. He got exiled out of New York. Dean, any other big ones that pop up in your head? I'm gonna need some words out of you, man.
Look, the Davante Adams ones was going to happen no matter what. None of his contract was guaranteed anymore. So the Jets releasing him to clear up $25-30 million was a given. It was going to happen, especially after they didn't bring back Rodgers. So honestly, I don't see that as a big one because it was expected. That's just my personal opinion, right? There were some other really big ones that I thought. So I thought one of the bigger ones was Tyler Lockett, doing him a little dirty. I mean, a lifer in Seattle. You know, just get up and cut him because you're kind of done with him. And not to mention, on top of that, following that news, DK Metcalf then requested a trade. So lots of crazy shit is happening in Seattle. Geno Smith must be like, what the fuck happened here, right? It's your fault, Geno.
Yeah, it is.
Then there was a lot of other ones like the Jaguars are selling house completely, right? They cut they released him and then they finally traded him, Christian Kirk. Kirk is now on the Houston Texans, so that's a big one. And then they also today cut Evan Ingram. So they're pretty much cleaning house,
I didn't
which
know
is
about
crazy.
that. I didn't know.
You don't know.
No.
Hey,
No. I knew they traded Christian Kirk, but I did
Yep.
not. I knew they were going to think about trading Evan Ingram. I didn't know they cut him.
Nope, they cut him. They cut two-time Pro Bowl tight end Evan Ingram. I mean, that's just one of the few that have been happening. The wide receiver market has been increasingly being overpopulated this offseason due to the amount of cuts and everything. That's beyond the one trade we didn't even talk about yet, which was Deebo Samuel, who got traded to the Washington Commanders. So lots of activity this offseason that clearly has happened over just the last week.
Yeah, and one for the Debo trade. I need to hear your opinion on this. Do you think Debo is only worth a 5th-round pick?
I think he's worth less than that. I'm being
really?
Yeah, I don't like what I saw from him last year, right? Sure, I love the argument that, a change of scenery could help everything, right? But I mean, this guy was the number one receiver after Ayuk went down. He consistently complained to the media that he wasn't getting targets, that he didn't get touchdowns, that his scheme was wrong. Meanwhile, every time they gave him targets, he would drop the ball. Every time he would get targets, he would get tackled immediately. I just don't think he's a very overhyped wide receiver. Do I think he's going to help the Commanders? Absolutely. Right? Because the Commanders already have a bona fide one in Terry McLaurin.
Yeah.
The Commanders already have a good running back duo in Eckler and Robinson. So Debo's more or less going to slot in the slot, no pun intended. And he's going to really just be a lot of short slant stuff, which I think is going to benefit them, or even, some screens. As long as he catches the ball, I think he's going to help the Commanders. But I see this as really a no-lose if I'm the 49ers.
I honestly thought that the Niners could have got a little more out of him because he had one bad season in my eyes. So why punish him for that one bad season?
You forget too, he's constantly injured.
I mean,
and it's some weird injuries too. I think he's had pneumonia 3 times in the last 2 years.
He's had pneumonia twice in the past.
Which is weird, right? And that's not. It's because he's had punctured lungs. It's because he had broken ribs. It's because he has whatever the fuck it is, right? He's constantly injured too. So this is not one of your high premier trade targets in the wide receiver market. I want to talk about fuck Debo, fuck the Commanders, fuck you. I want to talk about one which was probably the most shocking, and he's probably going to be one of the best players in the free agency market, Joey Bosa.
I was just about to say that.
And I'm curious to hear your thoughts on where you think he's going to go.
I think he's going to go spiteful in this bitch. I'm really feeling spiteful. I could see him going to Oakland. Not Oakland, Las Vegas. Las Vegas.
Yeah, ew.
I don't. I think because you got to think about it, they have a lot of cap. They have
They
a
do.
fuck ton of cap. And I'm sure
They do.
Max Crosby wouldn't mind having Joey Bosa with him.
Max Crosby just signed the richest deal in NFL history that is not a quarterback. Do you really think the Raiders, after giving him that and being so loyal to him, are going to give Joey Bosa more to beat out his contract?
They're not gonna be. You gotta think about it. How old is Joey Bosa? Like in his late 20s, early 30s.
Joey Bosa is still very good.
Yeah, I know he's very good, but he's also very hurt 99% of the time.
Okay, but like,
I want you to look up right now how many times in his career has he played the entire season.
first and foremost, right? Joey Bosa is only 29 years old. So I like, and Max Crosby's 27. Max Crosby's definitely better. It was a smart deal by the Raiders to make that move because he's the cornerstone of your franchise. He's the heart and soul of that franchise. So that makes sense, right? I get it. But Joey Bosa just doesn't fit there because you're going to have to spend so much money and you have so many other areas that you're going to have to maneuver, one being the quarterback position.
Yeah.
And you have a lot of other areas on that defense too. They have no secondary, Derek.
Well, this is the thing for me is like there's so many people, there's so many good players this year, even who got released, who are entering free agency. So they could obviously they could do what the Bears did, I think it was last year, to where they just build up. They just spend every amount of money in the world. They could do that, but
You could.
if you let me just say this: if the Raiders get Joey Bosa, they can't just get Joey Bosa and then not do anything else and sit there and rot. You have to keep on going and get these big. You have to get big players for key positions, and I don't think they should pick up a quarterback. They should draft. They can't be picking up these 30-year-old quarterbacks or these 27-plus quarterbacks and them just sitting there and rotting.
That's not my argument. Right? My argument is that they have so many other needs on that team that, look, you have Max Crosby already. I think you should improve other portions of your team in order to be better, right? Just because you're going to have two of the best defensive ends in the league doesn't mean that you're going to be good all of a sudden. You have so many other holes on the defense alone, let alone the offense. So, look, it's compelling. It's not, I don't think it'll happen. I think my perfect landing spot for him is right next to his brother.
I was just about to say that. But I don't know if they have the cap. That's the only thing I was thinking about, but I don't know if they have the cap for that. They're paying a lot of people.
They shed some cap with Debo.
Okay.
They are going to have to re-sign Purdy. That's the big one.
Yes.
Right? That's where Purdy's going to get $35-40 million a year.
Big contract.
So they're going to have to shell out a pretty solid amount of money for Purdy, which sucks for them, right? Because this is the thing with the 49ers, though. They're a good team. They're just constantly injured in every facet of their team.
Oh, yeah. They need I blame the owner, honestly. I blame him.
You blame the owner for their injuries?
I don't know. No, if anything, I blame their medical staff. Fire everyone in the medical staff.
You're just ignorant. Look, there's a lot of different places that Bosa will go, and he has a huge market, right? Everybody who's looking out there for a premier defensive end is going to be looking for him. That's just a fact. And then you have a lot of different other options out there at defensive end, one being in particular on the trade market, Myles Garrett, who wants a big deal. So it's whether or not that the Browns re-sign him to a $35 million a year deal over Max Crosby, or they trade him to a different team in the league, not being named the Philadelphia Eagles.
Hey. It's very possible he wants to play in Philly.
Shut up. Your time, you had your time, now shut it.
No, it's the time. My time is not up. I don't give a fuck. All right, no, this is one thing for them too. This is one thing for Joey Bosa. You want to go somewhere that you don't want to go to a team because as your age, he's 29 years old. He's not going to be playing much longer. Go to a team that you're going to win a championship with. Like I can see him also going to Buffalo. Buffalo will be a good fit for him. Him and decrepit Von Miller. right, on both sides. Like you got how I'm seeing is like obviously besides the Raiders one was just seeing Max Crosby and him like matching up. That'd be nice, cool to see. But go to a championship team and not just rot your rest of your career on a fucking team that has to rebuild.
I understand that premise. He's going to have options. There's no doubt about it. There's going to be quite a few teams out there who are going to offer him solid contracts, so he's going to have options.
Fucking go to Philly.
Where you're on thin ice. Thin ice. Enough with Philly. All right, you re-signed your precious Saquon. You re-signed your precious bullshit defenseman. You won the Super Bowl. Get it. All right? Give it a rest. You could gloat next year when the year starts. God have mercy. I'm so fucking pissed. In other news, in other fucking stupid NFL news, mind you, right? Because to your point, a lot has happened, right? A lot. One of the bigger storylines is DK Metcalf asking out for a trade, Myles Garrett asking out for a trade, some of these big high-profile players going for a trade. But to your point too, Derek, because teams are trying to get so much cap space opened up, a lot of restructurings have happened. So, first and foremost, Matthew Stafford and Dak Prescott, their contracts have been restructured to try to gain those teams some cap space this offseason. The Cleveland Browns restructured Deshaun Watson's contract, another situation where they're trying to free up some cap space before they hire a hitman to kill him. So there's a bunch of different avenues that'll go. And I think a lot of it, all of this does depend on, because there's a few big trades out there that the entire market is very anxiously awaiting.
DK.
And I want your, yeah, but beyond that, I want your opinion. Do or do not, do the Tennessee Titans trade the number 1 pick?
Do.
Interesting. Reasoning?
Well, okay. Because how I see it is this, is that they, in my eyes, were looking at that roster. Obviously, they have Will Levis. He is young. He did have a bad year. I would keep him for this year. Keep him. Not draft a quarterback. I would have wanted, me personally, I would have wanted the defensive side to build the defense, and I would have went for Abdul Carter. But he's injured.
Okay.
And he might fall down on the draft board. I could see them trading down with the Giants. I see the Giants trading up and Tennessee
taking Cam Ward.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think, and you could honestly get, obviously, the first pick's very valuable, and the Giants would give a night, not it because you guys are the 3rd pick, correct me if I'm wrong? Yeah. Yep. So you guys won't give up a lot. We'll give up a good amount towards a good trade to where you're just switching 2 spots, and you can still get Abdul Carter for less money.
Yeah. No, look, I get it, right? I do get the premise, and especially because the Giants are one of those teams that is definitely looking to trade up, at least from what we've heard in the reports. And you would be leapfrogging Cleveland, who most definitely will be taking a quarterback, whoever it may be, whether it's Shador or Cam Ward. I think from the Tennessee Titans perspective, it's pretty simple. Do you want to take a quarterback or do you not want to take a quarterback? If you want to take a quarterback, if your eyes are set on Cam Ward, you do not trade this pick for a million years, right? That's just the fact of it. If you are set, to your point, on taking a defensive player, whether it's Travis Hunter or Carter, you should trade back. Gain some more assets, whether it's another 2nd-round pick, maybe it's a future 1st-round pick because it is the number 1 overalls, who knows? And you get back and you still get your guy. I get that premise. It's just a matter of what direction the Tennessee Titans want to go and where their scouting department feels is the best avenue.
And this actually, it kind of like contradicts what I said, but it all depends. It kind of depends on Myles Garrett. Because if Myles Garrett gets traded, right, there's going to be the empty slot on the defensive end side.
Yeah.
If there's an empty slot there, and he's not paid or anything like that, I would think the Browns are going to take Abdul Carter if he's there. I would think, right?
It's a tough position for the Browns because if you don't take a quarterback, it doesn't even matter if your quarterback sits out a full year to learn, right? And to just sit on the bench. That's fine. But if you don't take a quarterback, you are going to have another 2-win season next season. Yeah. That's just the reality of it. You can't go into the year with Dorian Thompson as your number 1.
Yeah. You
just can't. The Browns have very limited options. If you don't take a quarterback at 1, you are kind of forced to throw money, stupid money by the way, at one of the free agent quarterbacks like a Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
You're forced to. You need a quarterback. You can't, because Deshaun Watson's future and career in Cleveland is over as far as I'm concerned. He's pretty much just there. They're paying him because they have to, right? And then Jameis Winston is gone now. He's a free agent, and I don't think you're going to re-sign him. So you're left with Dorian Thompson. Are you really going to enter the year with Dorian Thompson as your QB1?
No.
No. So you're going to have to sign a quarterback or you're going to have to draft one. There is no middle ground here.
Uh, yeah. You're for once. I give up. I concede. You're right.
I'm just saying, because, and on top of that, I don't think it would matter as much if Myles Garrett gets signed or gets traded for Abdul Carter. You know what Carter is. He's a stud. Sure, he's injured right now, but he's young. He's going to be fine. He's a stud. He's supposed to be that good. So I don't think it matters what Garrett does, because even if you're going to go that direction and sign a quarterback, what's the worst thing that could happen? You pair Carter with Garrett? I think that's pretty sexy too.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter with the Browns. It's the simple fact is you got to decide where you want to go quarterback wise.
Yeah. If they get their quarterback situation handled before everything, then potentially thinking Abdul Carter. But I don't think they're going to do that. But this is a massive question because I've seen a lot of mock drafts, and I don't see Travis Hunter in the top 3. I see him falling to the top 5. Do you think that's going to happen or no?
I do. I think 2 quarterbacks go, and then Carter goes in the top 3. I think whoever's at 1, whether it's Tennessee or whether it's the Giants, I think either one of those take a quarterback. I think I just gave you my reasoning. I think Cleveland would be stupid not to take a quarterback. And then I think whoever's at 3, whether it's Tennessee or whether it's the Giants, take Carter.
If the Giants, all right, I hate the Giants. I'm an Eagles fan, obviously. If the Giants get Abdul Carter to pair with Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau, and all these other fucking phenomenal, sexy Dexy, that would be the best that could be the best young defense in the NFC.
Well, look, the defensive line was already good as it is, and there has been reports that the Giants have been, shopping lightly Thibodeau because he is due for an extension soon, and he hasn't lived up to his potential per se. He's still very good, but he hasn't lived up to that premier status that he got drafted at within the top 10. So regardless, I think Carter's a perfect fit here. And then if you do take a corner, you don't take Travis Hunter. In my opinion, I don't think this is just me, and a lot of people think differently on it, right? But this is just what I'm saying. I really don't think he's the best corner in the draft. I think it's Will Johnson.
Oh, I 100% agree.
So if you're going to take a corner instead, if you're going to go defense, your options are Will Johnson and Carter. And I think that's fine. You're getting a stud no matter what, which I love because, another personal opinion, I don't want the Giants to take a quarterback this draft. I don't think this is a strong quarterback draft in my opinion. I really don't. I think Shador, Cam Ward, Dort, whoever you want to look at, right? I don't think they're the answer, especially for this Giants team. So I think you just sign, a BS quarterback, whether it's an Aaron Rodgers or whether it's a Jameis Winston for a year, suck again, and then draft a quarterback in a much more quarterback-friendly draft next year.
Arch.
I'm not saying Arch. I'm just saying there's going to be better quarterbacks next year. So that's my consensus. However, I do agree with you. If the Giants get Carter, that defensive line is, if not the best, top 3 in the NFL.
Yeah, that would be fucking insane. And
it would be.
This is the one thing I don't understand. Just go off Travis Hunter. I don't understand. Me personally, I think he's a better wide receiver than he is a corner. I don't see why he's going into the draft as a corner. It just and this is another big thing. Money wise, corners don't get paid that much.
Yet. Maybe he's looking to break the market, man.
But he's all right. This might be a hot take. this might be extremely, extremely hot take. He is a good corner. Don't get me wrong. But he is not going to survive in the NFL as a fucking cornerback.
Look, an even hotter take, he may not survive in the NFL, period. He was on Colorado. Colorado. Let's call a spade, right? This is not one of the premier schools. Colorado, right? And he was playing both sides of the ball, and he played them really well, and he won a Heisman. There have been many Heisman winners who did not translate to the NFL. It just happens sometimes. I'm not saying in any way, shape, or form, don't misconstrue my words. I'm not saying Travis Hunter is going to be a bust, right? I'm saying it's possible, but if he's going to choose one, he's got to go full on in on it. He can't choose corner and then say 2 years from now when he sucks at corner, you know what, screw it, I'm going to be a wide receiver. Probably won't work.
No, it won't.
So whichever one he chooses, he's going to have to go hard in.
Yeah. And correct, who's with... I don't know I know Tennessee, Cleveland, Giants. Who's 4 and 5?
Patriots is 4. Jacksonville is 5.
Jesus Christ.
I can see it's tough because the Patriots need a wide receiver so bad. But if Travis Hunter goes into the draft as a cornerback, you're probably not going to take him. You may go like a Golden from Texas. Or you may go the what's his name, Derek? Help me out. From Ohio State.
Oh my god.
I mean, you may just go receiver at that point, right? And then Jacksonville, who the fuck knows? They need everything.
Oh, Ime. I think his name is Ime Udoka or something. Uduka, whatever.
I believe so. Yeah, and then Jacksonville needs everything in the world.
Yes, because they're just getting rid of everyone, so they might as fucking well.
I mean, you might as well trade Trevor Lawrence, too.
Yeah, I don't know about
Fuck
that.
it, trade him.
Actually, no.
Your team's sick anyway.
No, this is a big player you need to get rid of. Just poor guy suffering. Mr. Etienne. Travis Etienne. Get him off. Free Travis Etienne.
I don't know, man.
Well, to segue a little bit more into the NFL, I want to talk about 2 more big things that happen. And one of them is the Bears trying to protect Caleb by getting Joe Thuney, who is a great guard from the Chiefs. Was not expecting the Chiefs to trade him, but I guess obviously because of cap reasons he got traded. Do you think that by the Bears getting better offensive linemen, especially a person from the Chiefs, does this help Caleb in any way, shape, or form?
Yes, Derek. What are we talking about here? Of course it helps Caleb. The Bears are going all in on Caleb. Which is fair, right? He's your number 1 overall pick. It would be stupid to give up on him. And he did show some flashes, at least towards the end of last year, which is nice. But you got to protect him. He was running for his life constantly. So, yes, these 2 offensive linemen were big gets, and they're both veterans. You don't have to worry about, rookie hangovers or anything like that. You know what you're getting from these guys, and they're both going to be signed to extensions, I'm assuming, here soon. So, yes, very big get. Anything to keep Caleb upright, right? That's the whole thing here. You want to keep him in the pocket as much as you can so he can show off his strong arm. That's the whole goal here. Because if he's running outside of the pocket, running for his life, and we know he doesn't like to throw the ball away, so that means he's constantly getting sacked, it's just going to cause maybe injury, cause more mental stress on him, and he's going to suck dick consistently in football. I mean, we don't, if you're the Chicago Bears, you have to go out there and protect your biggest asset. You have to. You have no choice to do this. So, yes, I think this is a very, very smart and big move by the Bears. To your point on Thuney from the Chiefs, yes. The Chiefs, this was a similar situation they had with Tyreek Hill coming up on his 3rd contract. They did not want to pay him long-term again, so they traded him away. That's kind of just how it is. But nonetheless, yeah, I think this is a huge get for Chicago. And now, with the weapons he has, with the protection that's getting up, Caleb's starting to run out of excuses for next year.
And obviously a new coach.
Yep.
Which is huge. And
new team, new offensive everything.
Yes. So, for once I'm going to say this, and it's probably going to be the last time. Good luck, Caleb. But I want to talk about one thing purely because I feel bad for the guy. Higgins. Okay. Once again, being franchise tagged.
Okay.
At some point, is he should request a trade. I know it might be crazy for me to say, but this poor guy is constant. What was it? The past 2 years, he got
Yeah.
franchise tagged. He should not be getting franchise tagged. This guy needs to get paid. He's a very good wide receiver.
He's very good. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. It's tough, right? Because the Bengals are in a very tough situation. One, yes, T. Higgins is consistently asked, can I explore trades? Multiple teams have reached out to Cincinnati about trades because of how good this guy is. So, yeah, he may get traded before the season begins. There's no doubt about it. However, the Bengals are in a tough position because before they do anything with Higgins, which is why they tagged him, they have to re-sign Jamar. Jamar has to be their priority one. So they can't do anything long term with Higgins, or they can't do anything trade wise with Higgins until they have Jamar Chase signed and inked on their team for the next 3 to 4 years. Because God forbid they sign or they trade Higgins and Chase says, fuck you, I'm not signing a long-term deal, then not only did you lose one, but you lost both of your premier wide receivers. So they have to make sure one of them is locked up first and foremost, right? Secondly, never feel bad for a guy who makes $26 million in a year, Derek. Fuck you. There could be worse things in life than getting franchise tagged, staying in this team that you've always been in, and making $26 million.
I guess. How I see it is that he could be making more money elsewhere.
I promise you, he's gonna get paid. Whether it's from Cincy or whether it's elsewhere, he's gonna get paid.
If I'm T, I'm pissed. I'm fucking livid. Obviously, Jamar Chase is huge. You have to keep him. If you want to stay with the Bengals, you have to keep Jamar Chase and then go for T Higgins. But if T Higgins left now, if he didn't get franchise tagged, he could be a number one wide receiver for a lot of teams.
Most teams.
Most teams. He won't be a number two like he is right now. And in my eyes, I'm seeing, all right, I'm the number two option. I'm always going to be the number two option. Let me go somewhere to where I'm going to get treated well and be the number one option, and then obviously get paid the money you want.
So he's going to get paid. I mentioned this already. Whether it's from the Bengals or whether it's another team, he's going to get paid. I don't think he has to worry about the money. I really don't. It's just a matter of ego at that point. Do you want to be a number two for the rest of your career? That's fine if you do. You have a very good thing going with Joe Burrow as your fucking quarterback and then Jamar Chase lining up beside you. Right? So you can't really get much of a better situation than that for your offense and for your skills. Or do you want to go elsewhere and, you're still going to get the same money and then be a number one elsewhere? Maybe you go to the fucking Patriots, right? And Drake May's your quarterback. It's up to him ego-wise on whether he wants to stay with a team that has a good situation or whether he wants to go elsewhere and try his luck. And that's up to him because he's going to get paid. No matter where he goes, he's going to get the money he wants. I promise you that. He is one of the best receivers in the NFL. So I don't see that. I see that as a non-issue.
All right. That's fair. I still think it's an issue because I'm money-hungry motherfucker. So
Because you're a piece.
No, but it is what it is. All right, moving on from the NFL, because I know the NFL, we've been talking about it all year long. I want to segue to the NBA. And I want to talk about one specific team.
Yeah.
It is in the New York area.
Oh, shocking.
And it's the New York Knicks.
Okay.
We have spoke about them struggling against good teams.
Yep.
Like doing god-awful against good teams.
Okay, you made your point.
They're at 10 o'clock
Yep.
Eastern Standard Time on Thursday. The Knicks are versing the Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
A huge game. And it starts off a big stretch for the Knicks on the West Coast. Correct?
Mm-hmm. It does.
So, I want your honest opinion about tonight's game.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think the Knicks are going to win tonight? Do you think they're going to lose? And if they lose, how bad they're going to lose? And if they win, how bad they're going to win?
It pains me. I think they get spanked tonight. I think they get absolutely shellacked. They're 6-4 in their last 10. They had one good win out of those six, which was Memphis, a pretty big comeback win where they won by 1 point, which was nice to see. Um, but then the other night they got spanked against Golden State, who is definitely a beatable team, and I wouldn't consider them one of the top teams in the NBA. The Lakers, however, have been one of the top teams in the NBA over the last 20, 25 games, especially since the Luka trade, being 8-2 in their last 10, being very dominant in those 8 wins. So it pains me. I do think the Knicks lose tonight. I think the Knicks get spanked pretty hard tonight. If you're a Knicks fan, yes, obviously you want them to win. However, if they are going to lose, my God, you want to see it be within a 5 point game. I mean, this is prime time against the Lakers. You want to see some semblance of a decent team that could beat a very good team going into towards, the latter half of the year. You only have 20 games left, just about. You got to start showing signs of life or else you're going to be a second round exit in the playoffs. So tonight is a good start for that, and then not to mention the back to back they'll be playing the Clippers again tomorrow. So these are two huge games for them. I think they lose both, and I think they get spanked against the Lakers. I would love to see them though keep it close tonight. That's my goal.
Yeah, I'm honest. Like, this is not even me hating on the Knicks. It's just stats don't lie. They've statistically haven't done good against teams who are in the, what is it, the top three? I believe it's
Top two in each conference.
yeah. And Lakers are now in the top two, which is crazy to fucking say. But they're playing outstanding right now, the Lakers, defensive wise, offensive wise. They're all clicking. I don't think you guys are gonna get blown out. I do think it's gonna be a probably like a 7 point game. I see a high scoring game though, around like in the 120 ranges. But this is huge, huge game for the Knicks. I know obviously there's 20 games left. This is the start of your West Coast series. I think you'll have a couple games on the West Coast. The Lakers,
You're gonna have 5 games: Lakers, Clippers, Sacramento, Portland, Golden State.
all good teams. All good teams.
Let's calm down with Portland.
All right, Portland. All right, all right. 4 out of the 5 are good teams. Fair to say.
Yes.
So you at least in these 4 out of 5 games, you at least need 3 wins.
It would be nice, yes.
I think they could capture the. I think they could beat the Clippers. I think they beat the. I think they beat Portland. And I think they beat Golden State.
Okay. On the flip side of that, I think they go 1-4.
You're such a sad Knicks fan. Like, where's the hope, Dean?
I want to preface this. I think the Knicks have done exceptionally well this year. I think their starting lineup is one of the best in the NBA. I love Leon Rose. They're just not good enough, man. They're just not. They don't have a bench presence. They really don't, other than Mitchell Robinson. Maybe you could put Precious Achua in there if you really want, but they really and Deuce McBride, but they don't click when it comes to their bench players because they don't have any players that can come off the bench and just light it up. Right? They're not scoring 40, 50 points a game on the bench, which is what a lot of these great teams do. Look at Boston. Fucking Pritchard going for 40. What are we doing here? Like, you don't have a bench player on the Knicks who can do that. Precious Achua ain't putting up 40 points.
He's lucky if he puts up.
So I appreciate what they've done because they're a good team. They're fun to watch. They will win a playoff series. They will win their first series. They are just not good enough to beat the premier teams in this league. And whether or not what needs to be changed is to be decided. I just think, like, when it comes to the Lakers, when it comes to the Celtics, when it comes to OKC, when it comes to Cleveland, you're not beating any of them. None of them. In most series, you're probably getting swept.
Yeah, sadly, but yeah.
So it's hard to be optimistic when you know you're just heading towards a 4 or 5 game exit in the second round.
That's just. I feel like these are all Knicks fans. Is that you guys are all depressed to where you just instantly just think like, oh, you're gonna lose. I think it's possible. It's not out of the realm of possibility. All right, let's rewind time to when the Miami Heat were the 8th seed and went to the finals. They lost, but they went to the finals.
I don't care. Derek, look me in the eye right now and tell me there's a chance the Knicks beat the Celtics in a 7-game series.
Without laughing?
Exactly. Look me in the eyes and tell me there's a chance they're beating the Cleveland Cavaliers in a 7-game series.
I think the Knicks can't beat them in a 7-game series.
You're just naive and stupid. You've seen too much winning in your lifetime. That's your problem. You have to be beaten into submission and witness the losses in order to have your soul cleansed where nothing can hurt you.
Oh my God. That's so sad.
I'm being honest. This is how all Knicks fans feel. I promise you. Right? You can have that cautious optimism. They got good players. They got a good team. Brunson's a fucking stud. Right? He's the best point guard we've had maybe ever since Frazier. And that was in the 70s, and I wasn't even a thought in my father's nutsack. So, you know what? Yeah, I should be a little pessimistic. Because they're not beating any of these premier teams.
The thing is, like, obviously they have a great team, but it's not out of the realm of possibility. It's just the consensus I'm getting to is that it's out of the realm of possibility for them to beat. I think it's out. The one team it's out of the realm of possibility is the Celtics. That's
okay,
gone.
And you got to go through the Celtics.
if you go, I think they could beat the Cavs, but I don't think they beat the Celtics.
Okay, you can't beat the Celtics, so the season's over.
Unless Jason Tatum breaks his leg, falls off.
Even if Tatum broke his leg tomorrow, I think the Celtics are a better team and they still win.
I don't think so.
I think you're stupid if you don't think so. They still have Jaylen Brown, Al Horford, Kristaps Porzingis, Derek White, Peyton Pritchard. I mean,
I think without Tatum, that's pretty fucking huge.
This is all hypothetical shit. The Knicks are losing in 5 in the second round of the Eastern Conference playoffs. They're going to lose by 22 tonight against the Lakers, and they're going to lose by 11 to the Clippers tomorrow.
22?
Yep.
What do you think? Luka's going to go for 50?
He doesn't need to.
Yeah.
I think Austin Reeves may go for 45 tonight.
Oh my God.
Next topic. I'm fucking pissed.
All right, I'm gonna get you more pissed. We're gonna segue towards the NHL, and the reason why I'm staying in in the New York area is because we're in the East Coast. The Rangers.
Oh, thanks, Eric. You know geography.
We're in the East Coast, and the Rangers are huge for us.
Yes. No, not for us, me.
I'm saying for us because there's a lot of Rangers fans in the world. You tell me there's not? I'm not one included, but I'm saying for us. The Rangers have been struggling for this season. Obviously, we spoke about this. Their defense has been not so well. It hasn't been doing well. Obviously, they made a trade. Huge trade for you. Would you like to say the trade, Dean? For getting rid of someone?
Calm down. First and foremost, the Rangers are not a bad team. So let's put that aside. All right? We had a bad stretch. From December to the end of January, we were the worst team in the NHL. Since then, we have been third in the NHL in points. And before that time period, we were second in the NHL in points. So we are not a bad team. We went through a bad stretch. So calm your tits. Okay? Secondly, yes, the Rangers have had a pretty solid year when it comes to trades and maneuvering players, right? And this is not just because the trade deadline's tomorrow, right? The Rangers have been doing this all year. They got rid of Barclay Goodrow. They got rid of Jacob Trouba. On top of that, they made a massive in-season trade and got JT Miller, who has been everything they've wanted and more. Right? He's been phenomenal for them. 12 points in 8 games. That's electric. That's exactly what you needed for a team that was down in the dumps. Not only that, they also just traded Lindgren away, which was, we've been over the stats, the worst NHL defenseman in all of stats. The worst.
That's why it was huge.
So we traded him away to Colorado. I wish nothing but the best for Lindgren. The guy has a heart of a lion, and he's been a very good Ranger. But my God, he was fucking awful this year. Okay, so he's gone. Then they're moving other pieces. This week alone, just trade deadline week, they traded away Riley Smith for a third pick, and then got a prospect in return. They just made a trade tonight, and they got Soucy, a defenseman, a 6'5" defenseman from Vancouver, for a third pick, right? So they're definitely improving their team because they had to. They had no choice. And the Rangers are in a very weird spot. And I'll tell you why. It's because they're in limbo, whether they should buy or whether they should sell. They're a good team. They can make the playoffs. They can beat teams in the playoffs. However, I don't know if they can beat the Panthers or they can beat Carolina or they can beat Toronto. So you're in a weird spot where you want to sell and get assets, but at the same time you want to get equivalent assets back in order to make a run. So the Rangers are in a very tight spot. The East, for anybody who doesn't know the standings off the top of their head, which, hockey's still an up-and-coming sport, especially since the tournament. The Rangers are tied for the second wild card spot right now at 67 points. The amount of points, you get 2 points for a win, everybody who doesn't know. The amount of points between the second wild card spot and second and third to last in the Eastern Conference is only 5 points. That's how close the standings are right now. There are 7 teams who are within 5 points of the last wild card spot, Derek.
That's crazy.
That is pretty fucking crazy, right? So the Rangers are in limbo. They've made some very good moves so far. I still think they have another couple of moves left in them. Trade deadline's tomorrow, so we will definitely be talking heavily about that all across the NHL, not just for Derek to dick me and only talk about the Rangers. We'll be talking about that next week on the pod. But yeah, my one caveat to all Rangers fans out there, if you have Igor, you can win games. You can make the playoffs, and then in a 7-game series with Igor, anything could happen. Go Rangers.
Okay. But I just have one question for you. Obviously, last night they played the Capitals.
Yep.
They lost, and I believe it was overtime, correct?
That is correct.
So, obviously, it's good. They are the best team. I want to ask you specifically, how do you think the Rangers played against the best team in the Eastern Conference?
So to your point, the Rangers had a really rough stretch earlier in the year, right? From basically late November to January. They had a really rough stretch. The Capitals are the best. Points-wise, I believe they're second best now, second to Winnipeg in the NHL. But they're really good. They're 1-2 at the top of the league right now. And the Capitals have had a tremendous year. Not to mention you have Ovechkin, who everybody knows who Ovechkin is, right? He's going to surpass and become the all-time leading goal scorer in the NHL history. That being said, based on how we've been playing lately and based on even how we played last night, I think there's a lot to be optimistic for as a Rangers fan. You played this team extremely tight. You were physical with them, where the Capitals' game is defense and physicality, and the Rangers were 1-for-1 with them. Fighting back, pushing away, not really giving the Capitals a lot of different shots and opportunities. And then just to give you some perspective, Derek, we've played the Capitals twice this year, and we lost 5-3. Before this, I'm saying 5-3, and then we got blown out 7-4. So the fact that we kept it this close and really gave them a run for their money is encouraging as hell. And I loved it. Because it's one of those losses where it sucks to lose because it's an overtime, but you can take the good out of it and say that we're actually showing we're competitive in a way. And then not to caveat a little bit, the Rangers this weekend have 2 huge games, both against teams that are ahead of them right now. I don't know why the balloons just happened. Both against teams that are ahead of them in Ottawa and Columbus. So if you lose both of those games, you're kind of fucked. If you win both of those games, now we can start sipping the Kool-Aid and thinking maybe the Rangers can make the playoffs and start making a run. So ask me the same question, same time next week.
Okay, I will. So let me put it. Okay, well, I'll ask you the same question. But
yeah, put it in your little hamster wheel. Ask me again next week.
But obviously, the NHL, we are going to be talking about it more. But this is the first week I want to talk about purely the Rangers, and then next week we're going to talk about all hockey. Because the deadline will be concluded, and then more shit will be going on. So, to go into another sport, holy shit, we're fucking going to another sport. We need to talk about spring fucking training.
Yep.
I'm happy. I love baseball. And I want to talk about a little part of spring training. One specific person who I'm so surprised that actually something I said came true. I want to see Paul Skeens on the mound.
Mm-hmm.
I did. Mm-hmm. And I also saw Paul Skeens with 2 new pitches in his arsenal.
Yeah.
Scary as fuck to say. This motherfucker added a cutter.
Yeah, the cutter looks. I don't even know if there's a proper word for it.
No.
I mean, this guy was devastating on the mound to begin with, and now he added he basically is the most power. Like it's almost as if Superman gained the ability to be invisible. Like it's like it's crazy to think about because you couldn't, after last year's rookie debut, you couldn't think he could get better, and his arsenal has.
Didn't you also add a sinker? Was that the other pitch?
Derek, who knows? Maybe next he adds a knuckleball. Just to fuck with people. Just to fuck with people.
Dude, I don't remember exactly how fast that cutter came in, but the way obviously he's gonna be mixing in these pitches. So as a batter, I don't know what the fuck you're gonna do. Honestly, a left-handed batter having a cutter coming up and in.
There's a few options you can do as a batter, right? If you're a lefty and you have that cutter against you, you crowd the plate and you hope it hits you. And then you get on first base. Good for you. If you're a righty, just don't even go up to the plate. Or maybe become a switch hitter and just stand there as a lefty and get hit.
That's fair.
Yeah.
This is what we're saying. We're not like pretty much like glazing. I'm not like glazing fucking Paul Skeens.
You're glazing him hard. I'm glazing him hard.
But
I'm laying it on thick. I mean, look, this guy was probably, for the second half of last year, the best pitcher in baseball. Maybe you can argue. Oh no, you can't. He was the best pitcher in baseball in the second half of last year on a dog shit team. So, barring any injuries, and we hope not, because he is electric to watch, and you want to see it. He is going to be the best pitcher in baseball this year. I mean, I just don't see any way that he isn't. And the sad part about it is, he may go 500 in his starts because of how bad the Pittsburgh Pirates are. Which is depressing.
It is. That's pretty fucking sad.
That's a sad statement that I just made, but it's true.
Oh my god. I hope that doesn't happen. I really hope it doesn't happen.
Oh, I hope it does.
But it will.
I hope it does, so fans blow up PNC Park in Pittsburgh.
It is a nice stadium, though.
It's a gorgeous stadium, but here's the key: you have to hope the owner is in the explosion.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, then it's worth it.
We do not promote violence. I promise you, we don't.
We promote a little violence. I'm just saying. I'm not promoting blow up a whole stadium, but maybe an assassination attempt.
Fair enough. Okay.
See, there's a perfect middle ground here.
Yeah, but Dean, I want you to talk about some key players who's popped up in this spring training to start off.
Yeah. I mean, look, everybody knows spring training is not what it used to be. There's a lot of AA, single A, triple A players that play in spring training now. Teams are more or less seeing what they have. giving these guys a taste of the big leagues before they send them back down for the minor league season, or just trying to make a roster spot, the old-fashioned roster spot. So, couple of people that have really showed out this on the pitching side. Garrett Crochet on Boston has not allowed a run yet in spring training. He was one of their biggest acquirees in the offseason from the Chicago White Sox, and he's looking pretty dominant. So that's a big one to look out for when the season starts for Boston as they revamped their entire pitching staff. Not to mention Walker Buehler, and that was another big signing for the Boston Red Sox. But one guy on the Yankees pitching wise who has looked phenomenal, Will Warren. Not a big name. A lot of people probably don't know him yet. If you don't, you should. He's been a stud this spring training. Another Crochet type thing where he has not allowed a run yet, and he's had like 12 Ks in 3 outings. So another big name who has really looked good and want to give him the props that he deserved. And you obviously have your normals, right? Freddie Freeman looks really good. 3 home runs already in spring training. You have Ohtani, who hit a home run on the first pitch of spring training. He's still coming back from his Tommy John to pitch again, which is crazy to think. Roki Sasaki on the Dodgers had a little bit of a rough first outing. Second outing, he fucking lit it up. So you do have these normals. I did want to just focus on those 2 pitchers that I mentioned, Warren and Crochet, because they have been great this spring training. And then you've had some injuries, particularly with the Yankees. DJ LeMahieu back to being invisible. Giancarlo Stanton on vacation until the playoffs, so good for him. Luis Heel, he jerked off a little bit too hard. Will be out at least 3 months this year, so that's a good sign for the Yankees pitching staff. Hopefully Warren makes the roster because that kid is a stud, and everybody should learn his name one more time. Soto's been good. Mets pitching staff had a very rough spring training. A lot of injuries over there. Sean Manaea, Frankie Montas, both going to miss extended time and start the season on the IL, so that hurts their chances. One guy in particular was not had a good spring training. Zach Wheeler on the Philadelphia Phillies. He's definitely been getting older. His fastball's losing a little bit of life. Something to look into to see if that translates into the regular season or if maybe he's just kind of fucking with players right now. We'll see how that goes. Garrett Cole also got shelled today. Gave up 6 runs in 2 innings of play. So, that's something to look towards as well. I do want to emphasize, though, my personal opinion. I don't put a lot of stock into spring training, especially from guys that are going to make the roster and that are veterans. I think spring training is a lot for these young kids trying to make a name for themselves and these young players that are trying to get ramped up. Like, for example, you can look at the Yankees because we're on the East Coast and that's front and foremine, right? You can look at Lombard Jr., who's been a stud. Everson Pereira, stud. Spencer Jones having a great spring training. So these are guys who are trying to make a name for themselves and maybe even make a roster spot opening day with the injuries. So that's where I kind of see spring training. Although, yes, I agree with you, Derek. It is nice to see baseball back for once.
I'm so happy baseball's back. And to speak about spots for opening day, I need to ask you, do you see any players from the spring training team making the opening day roster for the New York Yankees?
I think
I have one in my head.
so. I think one or the so I do think Warren's going to make it now. By the way, because of the injury to heel, I think they're still trying to trade Stroman because they just don't want him on the team anymore.
I don't want him on the team.
Nobody does. So I think Brian Cashman is trying to get him hit by a limo or something like that. So we'll see how that goes. However, I do think either Everson Pereira or Lombard Jr. is going to make the opening day roster. I don't know. I don't know which one. They could do a Lombard situation where they have him play third and kind of just bring him straight up from Double-A like they did Volpe, which I would not mind because I'd rather have him over DJ LeMahieu or Oswaldo Cabrera. So it'll be curious to see. I'm going to put my money on Pereira is going to make the opening day roster.
It might be bold because I know, like, obviously spring training he hasn't like lit it up insanely, but I think the one player I'm thinking of is Jason Dominguez.
I don't.
Why don't you like me?
Oh, why would you think that's a surprise?
No, I'm not. No, because if you think about it, like he has had the opportunity to make the opening day. This is the first time he has the opportunity to do it.
Yeah.
Because obviously the injuries. If he wanted to make his spot and make his name for the Yankees, this is his time.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure on the kid because most likely opening day he's going to be your starting center or left fielder.
Yeah.
Depending on where you want to put Judge.
Or Bellinger.
Bellinger, my mistake. Depending on where you want to put Bellinger. So, yeah, there's a lot of pressure on him. He has to perform. Like, he can't go in there to start the year, play the first 25 games, and bat like 150.
Mm-hmm.
He's got to show up. This is his chance. You're 100% right. This is his opportunity. You better not fuck it up, because if he does, you go right back down, sir. Bye-bye.
Such assholes. This guy's pretty much, he needs this money. The guy.
Yeah, he's fine.
I know it's like being a dick, but like going from single A or like double A to go into the pros, that's massive. Like that's a massive life change.
He's made a couple of million when he.
Oh my god.
Should we take that out? Derek, the money that he got a huge signing bonus when he first got onto the Yankees from international money. Not to mention he has been on a major league roster, so he's been making the minimum in the league. He's gonna be fine. Even if he doesn't pan out, even if he gets traded, if he goes back to the Dominican Republic or Puerto Rico, I forget where he's from, it's one of the Central American countries or one of the Caribbeans, he's gonna be fine. I promise you, he's gonna be fine.
All right. But I obviously because I've seen him like when he was 19. He was big for the Yankees when he was like a young kid.
A Martian,
I guess. But
bold prediction: I think he's gonna suck ass.
You think he's gonna suck ass? That's crazy.
I do. I think all the hype over the last few years. God, I hope I'm wrong. I really do. I just think he has been. I'm nervous. I'm very nervous about him.
Because he's so, like, on paper, he's such a good player. From what we've seen him do, it's just this. If we get to see him opening day, and he just shits the bed, every Yankee fan is depressed. Because we've been waiting on this kid longer than we've been waiting on Volpe.
Yeah, it's the truth. Volpe also worries me, by the way, but that's a whole different story. Different day, yeah.
Oh my god! Please God, pin out Jason Dominguez. Please God. But I do think that Warren is going to make the opening day roster too. I 100% agree with that. He's been pitching absolutely phenomenal. So if you have anything else to talk about for baseball.
Nothing on my end. We can talk more as opening day approaches.
Can't wait for that day. For Yankees opening day is, I believe, March 27th or March 29th.
It's March 27th.
Yeah, I was right.
Thursday. Yep.
Well, we will obviously, as what Dean said, we're going to be talking more. We're going to obviously conclude spring training and then talk about opening day when that happens. But Dean, we gotta go into a segment that we haven't touched on in a while. It's the segment I created, in a way. Mm-hmm. It's the what if.
What if?
To start off the what if, I'm gonna give you one.
Okay.
And
let's do it.
It's going to be an NBA team.
Oh, fuck you.
I know, and it's not the Knicks.
Okay, that makes me feel a little bit better, so thank you.
It is a team that has the Jordan brand on their jersey.
Okay.
It is the Charlotte Hornets.
Okay.
You have this offseason to rebuild and to turn the Hornets into a competent team. What are you going to do?
Oof. I only get one off season to turn them into a.
I'll give you two. I'll give you two.
No, you know what? Fuck it. You want to give me one off season to make them a competent team? I can do it. It's going to be tough, and this is all hypothetical, obviously, because, I'm a general manager now and I'm a sexy general manager. But you want them, there's a couple of moves they're going to have to make in the offseason. One of being my biggest offseason move as the general manager is going out there and getting Giannis Antetokounmpo. Yep. That puts them right into relevancy, bitch. And that is where I'm going.
You are one. He's not leaving. He's never leaving Milwaukee.
Who said?
There's no way that's what you're doing.
Not when I throw my next 8 first-round picks at Milwaukee.
Okay. If that happens, Dean, I will take you out to a steak dinner. If that happens.
What do you want from me? You gave me a what if here, one off season to work with to make them a competent team. Derek, they have what is this? Am I 15 wins? 14 wins on the year.
It's a lot of players entering free agency. You could do a lot.
60 games into the year, they have 14 wins, Derek. How am I making this a competent playoff
all right.
team?
I'll make it better. I'll make it better. Shut the fuck up. I'll make it better for you. I'll do 5 years. 5 years to rebuild the Hornets. That's fair.
It's a little bit better.
That gives you a good amount of time to do a lot of shit.
Yes, it does. So 5-year plan could definitely be a little different. So the first and biggest one is what to do with LaMelo Ball. Do you re-sign him to a massive extension again, or do you trade him? The Charlotte Hornets already have a lot of picks. So if they're going to build throughout the draft, they can. They can go the OKC route, but they have to hit. They have to hit. So that's the biggest thing, is whether or not you hit on them. They're going to have top 5 picks in the next 3 years probably too. So it's massive that they hit on this. If they get one, maybe they get Cooper Flag. Who knows? All right? I'm just saying. So definitely seeing where the picks fly. You got to make smart decisions as a GM and pick and make good picks. That's because if you don't, your franchise is going to suck for the next 5 years no matter what you do. That's just a fact. I'm going to go the route of keeping LaMelo. I think he's a great asset to the team. I'm going to give him his extension. There's nobody else on this team that deserves any sort of money whatsoever. So he's going to get all of it. He's going to get my left testicle to stay with the Charlotte Hornets. That's my first and foremost, right? I already said I'm going to have to do a good job in the draft, especially over the next 2 years when we're going to have top 5 picks. So be it. In terms of free agency, looking into at least the short term, which is, next year right away, you're going to have to bring in some veterans to try and help you out. Like, for example, and one of the biggest things on Charlotte right now is they really don't have competent, interior play whatsoever. A lot of their ball movement and a lot of their scoring opportunities are from the outside, from whether it's whether it's LaMelo or whether it's Mikal Bridges, even Josh Green, who, he's been okay, but that's where a lot of their scoring has been. So you definitely got to go out there and get some centers or get some power forwards that really put well into that. Free agency looking into 2025, I think you could go out there and get a pretty solid center or a pretty solid power forward, whether you want to choose like a Steven Adams or a Clint Capella to hold down the fort at center. Maybe you can even go out there and get a Marvin Bagley Jr. at power forward. I think that would help, or even a Dorian Finney-Smith if he leaves the Lakers. I think could be helpful here. You got to get role players to go around LaMelo because he has nobody right now. He really doesn't. So that'll probably be my number one thing in the offseason, going out there, getting some veteran leadership. Maybe I'm just saying go out for another scorer in an unrestricted free agency. Maybe you try to pair a point guard tandem with LaMelo. Maybe I want to go out there and get a D'Angelo Russell. Something. You need veteran leadership on the team because they have none whatsoever. Zero. Absolutely zero. Zero, Derek. I can't emphasize that enough. Zero. The oldest player on their team is Yusuf Nurkic, and he's 30. And he has not been that great.
No, but the thing is that he was so good with Portland, and then as soon as he left Portland, it's just been...
Yeah, it's a problem. And then That's my plan in the 1 year. I can't obviously look towards free agencies in 3 to 4 years because who knows what happens then in between now. Trade wise, I don't think you're and you don't have a luxury in the next 2 years to go out there and trade for a big name. Giannis was obviously my 1 year plan. If I had 1 year, that's never happening in a million years. So I think you're going to have to really build up draft capital. I think you're going to have to pick really good guys, and you're going to have to sign veteran leadership. That's my plan as the Charlotte Hornets GM. Do I think it's going to work? No. No. I think Charlotte's going to suck for the next 10 years.
Wow.
That's just my opinion. But, I mean, because they're another Knicks situation. They have given you nothing but disappointment in Charlotte.
Well, they've been the Bobcats, they've been the Hornets, they've been the Bobcats, they've been the Hornets.
Yeah, and nothing but disappointment in all of those.
Yeah, I guess you're right. But now I have a question because this relates to all the way when we were talking talking about the NBA trade deadline. Do you see a Hornets type team, a team that's not spending a lot of money, a big profitable team, trading or even signing in 2 years, or would you sign Kevin Durant if he was there? You would not even put out the money for him. Okay.
Keep that cancer as far away from my team as physically possible.
Oh my God.
I mean, look, I'm being honest. He has not won anywhere in his career except Golden State. And the only reason he won in Golden State was because his team was stacked already.
Yeah. I can't disagree with you.
He went to Brooklyn with Kyrie and James Harden, and they couldn't even win a playoff matchup.
Yeah.
Couldn't even win a round, Derek. Not one.
Yeah.
Then he goes to the Suns where they stack him up with Devin Booker and Beal, and they still can't win shit. They may not even make the playoffs.
Damn. Yeah.
So, you know what? I don't want him anywhere near my young and up-and-coming team if I'm Charlotte. I want him nowhere near me. Go elsewhere. I don't give a fuck.
Okay.
Goodbye.
That's fair.
Bitch.
That is completely fair. So is that all you're doing with the Charlotte Hornets? And do you think that you could make the playoffs within 5 years with that team after going through them?
Yes, you can make the playoffs. You're not going anywhere, but you can make the playoffs. The only way you're going to become a powerhouse if you're Charlotte, right? Charlotte's a very unique market because you're not going to sign any big names. It is not a big market team. You're going to have to create through the draft, and they did that with LaMelo when he's healthy, right? So you want to keep those guys. They're going to have to keep doing that throughout the draft. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. It's the same thing. Look at OKC. Not a big market. Could not sign a soul for their life in free agency. Meanwhile, they have built the number one team in the Western Conference and a powerhouse because of the way they drafted. Yeah. That's the blueprint for these small market teams. And that's the only way to do it because you can't attract big free agent signings. You're just not going to do it when it comes to the Charlotte market.
Yeah, and obviously you have the luxury of a lot of picks, the Hornets.
You do.
So
you do.
I think you did a pretty good job, and I do think with that what you do, you can make the play-in if the play-in is still around, and then potentially be the 8th seed. But
thanks, Dan. I appreciate that.
No problem. So now that I gave you one,
you
have to give me one to make it a little fun.
I do.
Oh no.
I do. So I'm actually, funny enough, I'm going to stick within the NBA realm.
Okay. Sweet.
You are, and I'm giving you one off season.
Oh fuck.
You get one singular off season to change them. You are the new general manager of the New York Knicks. You get swept in the second round against the Boston Celtics. Go.
Fire Thibodeau. First thing.
Okay.
Instantaneous. I'm firing them. I'm actually launching him out of the fucking stadium. Okay. 2. Obviously, you have the starting lineup is perfect the way it is, but you gotta sign a bunch of bench assets. Have to. Honestly, I wouldn't. Me personally, I would let Mitch walk, or even find a way to trade him.
Okay.
Because obviously he's a great center, great defensive center. But if I need this NBA in this day and age, it's based around being able to spread the ball. Mitch can't spread the ball. Sorry, but he can't. What I'm gonna do is just to even. I want to go big. I'm New York. I want to go big. Big up and coming free agents, young free agent who I think the Knicks can benefit hugely if they sign him.
Okay.
And his name, he's from the Timberwolves.
Okay.
And he is one of Cat's friends. It's Naz Reid. And I think signing Naz Reid could benefit the Knicks in so many different ways. Obviously this is because I believe he is a restricted free agent.
He has a player on.
Yes. So he could accept it or he could decline it. But the way the Timberwolves have been playing, I don't see him fucking accepting that shit.
Okay.
So I see him entering free agency and I see the Knicks signing him. And he is a good player who could average 17 points off the bench. Or not even 17, like 15 plus off the bench. And be good for someone like if you take out Cat, let me throw in Naz Reid. That's good. You're able to have that. And with, obviously, the Knicks are lucky. They have OG. They have Bridges, Brunson, Hart, Cat. So I think that mixing him with, like, say, in the lineup with Jalen Brunson at a moment, or even with OG, that would be good. And the one player who I don't even want, two players actually, who don't even step foot into Madison Square Garden, James Harden and Kyrie Irving. I love Kyrie Irving, but they're not good for championship teams. They have to stay away from New York. So, fuck them, get them the fuck out. And obviously, LeBron, who is technically a free agent, he is not leaving. Since Luka's there, he's staying there. He's not going anywhere. But I think with adding like a couple small assets to the Knicks off the bench, even he was signed for a huge contract a while back, Fred VanVleet. Get another point guard to help Jalen Brunson. Because if he has another point guard, it releases a lot of stress off of Jalen. And he doesn't have to worry about fucking spending 38 minutes at a fucking game, dying on the fucking court, and getting hurt. That's how you injure your players. You need help off the bench. Yep. If you have as what you said before, if you have 45 to 50 points off the bench potentially, that's great. That helps out your starting lineup and it relieves a lot of stress.
Okay.
But
okay,
I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm done.
That's good off season. Okay, I no rebuttal. This is how what if works. However, I'm gonna go the same route you did. I'm gonna give you another question on top of it. Okay. I am another GM in the league. Ring, 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 ring. Oh, hey there, Derek. How's life going?
Horrible.
This GM of the Milwaukee Bucks. I am offering you Giannis Antetokounmpo for OG and Mikal Bridges. I'll hang up and listen.
And I'm just getting Giannis. It's Giannis. It's Giannis for Bridges and OG.
Yep. Obviously, picks can be in this as well, but I'm not including the picks. That's the premise of the trade. You taking it?
Yes.
Okay.
New York has to make a splash, and this is a fucking Stephen Curry logo shot splash. You have to take one of those splashes, and if they let's just say if they have Brunson, Giannis, and Cat all on the same fucking team, if they don't go to the finals one year, disband the franchise. Get rid of Madison Square Garden. Honest to God. Start building a fucking playground. Honestly.
Okay. That was my follow-up question because based on how things are going, I truly don't know where Giannis' head is at. Milwaukee has definitely been getting worse as the years gone on. They did win a championship, so maybe he's looking for some fresh life. And I think the Knicks would be one of the premier destinations. That's just my opinion. So I had to give you that question.
I don't think, but this is one thing I will say. I don't think they would give up OG and Bridges. I think they would give up one and then just a fuck ton of picks.
Okay, that's fair.
But that would be huge for the fucking Knicks. Huge for the Knicks.
Would be.
Well, that concludes our What If segment.
What
if? And unless you have anything else to talk about that's gone on in the sports world or anything like that, tennis.
I do want to give a shout out in tennis, actually, now that you mention it. You know what? Never mind. I'm going to have him as my baller of the week.
That's fair enough. Well, let's segue into baller of the week, Dean.
Baller of the week.
The whole thing was in there. Good job.
Okay. Would you like to start it off,
No,
Derek,
actually,
or would you like me to?
I want you to start it off.
You want me to start it off? Okay. So, my baller of the week, it is in the tennis world, like I said, but he's not a tennis player, which is weird. You'll understand in a second.
Sus.
For anybody who's a big sports fan, you obviously know what Barstool Sports is. David Portnoy, one of the largest figures in the United States. They have so many segments of the companies basically filling out and covering every sport that you could ever think of. One of which is tennis. Two people in particular, Eric Hubbs and Marty Mush, they are big tennis fans within Barstool, and they had the privilege over the last couple of weeks to sit down in interviews and in the same time play tennis, playfully, because they're going to get their ass kicked, against high-profile tennis players. The two latest being Novak Djokovic and Carlos Alcaraz.
That's fire.
For anybody who didn't watch the interviews, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there. I would recommend going to watch them. It kind of gives a down-to-earth kind of feel. Like, these aren't professional interviews from ESPN reporters, right? These are funny and enjoyable interviews that they're giving these players, seeing how their life is, seeing what their career has done for them, seeing what they may do next, seeing how they can go about improving themselves. It's a really interesting and fun watch, especially, we know this from a Barstool perspective. They're a crazy company, right? They go out and do so many crazy different types of challenges and whatnot. And in this one, they're literally playing tennis against the best players in the world. So wanted to give a shout out to both of those two in Barstool for going through that, especially ahead of tourney season, which is coming up once again off the back end of the Australian Open earlier this year. So, those are my baller of the weeks. I guess two baller of the weeks, but overall Barstool and the tennis division in Hubbs and Marty.
I think that was actually a very good baller of the week. I like it because it's cool to see interviews with like big players in the sports world that are just calm. It's not like
more or less having a conversation with them.
Exactly, and it's not like pressured on like, oh, like your next match, this, that.
Yeah,
it's chill. I like it. That was a pretty good ball of the week. I'm going to go. Unfortunately, I'm gonna go with someone you have used.
Oh, interesting.
And I'm going to know with the man who normally you cannot say.
I love it. I was actually going to do a shameless plug about this, but I'm going to let you go and do it.
Okay. I am going to give my ball of the week to Mr. John Cena. God bless him. The man got what he wanted. He's going to be main eventing WrestleMania by capturing. He won the Elimination Chamber in Toronto. Huge. Lots of stars were there. Fucking Logan Paul wrote OVO on the fucking glass, and then Drake posted that. Huge for the WWE. God bless them. But going back to John Cena, he did the unexpected. Yep. No one expected him to do this. When I saw it, I shed a tear of happiness. I'm like, holy shit, this is sick. John Cena, as in the WWE, it's you're either the face of the company or you're the heel of the company. And John Cena, for the past, I'd say 5+ years, has been the face.
22. He's 20 years, 20+ year career. John Cena. He's one of the greatest wrestlers of all time.
Yes, he's been the face. And then at the end of winning, Cody Rhodes came out, who was his friend at the time, and They were talking because John Cena pretty much solidified a spot to go right main event WrestleMania.
Yep.
Then here comes Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Storms down, goes gets in the ring. Obviously, their shenanigans happen between The Rock and Cody Rhodes. To then a handshake by John Cena turns into an absolute massacre on Cody Rhodes.
Yep.
John Cena goes heel and changes everything.
Yep.
For the first time, actually, I've seen this in the post game. In the post interview after all the matches, John Cena went to the table, held the mic for a second, put it down, walked away. He didn't say anything, and it's great to see the WWE giving one of the greatest wrestlers of our generation his last chance for the last thing he ever wanted, which is to break Ric Flair's record. So my baller of the week is John Cena, and it's a little hyphen to the man who controls all this shit that goes on, Triple H. So thank you very much for being very entertaining.
Yep, great baller of the week. I actually did want to do a little shameless plug about the WWE. I know not a lot of people enjoy it too much anymore. John Cena, he deserves this, right? He's been the face of the company. He's one of the greatest wrestlers of all time for 20 plus years now. I think he's earned to be a little selfish. Going heel, he has never done before. He's done little mini things where he's pissed people off, but he's never gone full heel. To your point, him and The Rock had that unspeakable stare and then a swift kick to the nuts of Cody Rhodes. And I think if you look online, on Twitter, on Instagram, all over social media, people were posting their reactions because they just couldn't believe it.
Dude, it was flooding my timeline.
And that's what you want to see, especially because WWE has been down in the dumps in the last 5+ years. And then great co-ball of the week, Triple H, Hunter, has been bringing it back up ever since Vince McMahon's forced retirement. So really want to give a shout out there. And yeah, it was really electric, especially for me because I don't watch the WWE anymore. I don't think a lot of people my age watch it religiously anymore. But when you see heroes do something like that, you kind of just want to watch it like 30 times.
Exactly. Like I obviously, like you and me, we don't watch it as much as when we were younger. But now, like seeing like our stars who we watch, John Cena, The Rock, all these big stars coming back and having their moments. It's so cool to see, and you just want to keep on watching it.
Yeah, look, this is his retirement tour. This is his chance to get number 18, break the record. I hope he does it. I hope he goes on, because I believe he said he's going to be doing the whole year.
Yeah, till January.
If I'm not mistaken. And WrestleMania is in, don't quote me if I'm wrong, I believe it's in 6 to 8 weeks.
April.
Yes, perfect. So if and when, I hope, he wins the championship, at least he'll have a little bit of a run then with the championship.
That would be nice to see.
That's what I'm hoping. Obviously, we'll see how it all goes down. There's a lot of time in between now and then. But yeah, great ball of the week, Derek. Love it. John Cena, you do you, man. Be sick. Go get it. Fuck them kids.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Don't fuck them kids. No. All right. Well, that concludes the ball of the week. Both of us, I think, had pretty good ball of the weeks for the first time in a while. Pretty good ones.
Dick.
No, it's just like we both could. We both agreed that we've had good ones. You just said, "Oh, that's a nice one." You liked mine, I liked yours. Anyway, like, subscribe, follow us on TikTok, follow us on Instagram, all social medias, and this is going to be the first time I'm ever doing this, because there's going to be a video me reacting to Lakers versus Pelican game, putting it in the description. And I want to start doing this on the channel when Dean is not able to do something. I'm going to post a video of me reacting to a game or something like cool that you guys want me to see. Even suggest it in the comments or anything like that. If you like that concept. If you don't, fuck me, I won't do it.
Yeah, and if you don't like Derek, I'm willing to do it by myself too because I don't like him either.
Yeah, exactly. We'll both do it. We'll both do separate ones one of these days. But for all you know,
Fantastic.
woo-hoo. But everyone enjoy. And lastly, this is a promise. This is a fucking promise. Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Double D Podcast will be entering Spotify. Mark it down. It's gonna happen. Don't. I knew you were gonna do the fucking crickets. Fuck them crickets. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna stop being a lazy piece of shit, and I'm gonna do it. But in conclusion, like, subscribe, leave a comment, give Dean fucking mailbags. He needs 2. Next week he needs 2. Pack his fucking inbox. I don't give a fuck. But everyone, Dean, any last words before I sign this out?
Yeah, pack the inbox. Give me some mailbags. We're happy to answer them next week. As Derek mentioned, I am now being forced to do 2 next week, so I'm looking for questions. I am willing to look at any and all things that come into my inbox except dick pics, so be PG, everybody. But yes, I will be looking through all of the comments on Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Derek's MySpace page, all of it.
Yep. Well, everyone, have a good one.